Hey guys, welcome to the X. The first metaverse that the X will become a part of is Upland. Upland has more daily users than all other metaverses. Are you ready to experience the X? Well, then it's time to get you started with Upland, and we will teach you how to travel so you can get to the X metaphor. If you follow a friend's invite link and sign up with Upland, your first purchase will qualify you and the user whose link you use for the mega bonus. If you use my invite link in your browser to connect to Upland, then open an account, then make your first purchase for 100,000 UPX, and you and I both will get a 50,000 UPX bonus. Now, if you want to sign up by your phone, you just open your internet browser and type in my invite link and download the app, then sign up. My best advice at this point would be to wait to make your initial purchase of UPX until Spark Week so you can get a Spark reward, and wait to buy properties until the next city release during vanilla mode, and buy the most special properties you can get. Or you may just want to go buy a nice property in Arlington so you're close to the metaphor. In Upland, we collect interest on our properties, and these payments can be multiplied if a group of them can be submitted into a collection. 3 properties on the same street can be a collection. 3 properties in a neighborhood can be a collection. There are many collections for each city. After a city has been released, until the collections for that city have been revealed, the city will be in vanilla mode. Having purchased these properties before the collections release can help you to make good profit trades, or you can just keep the collections and reap the multiplied earnings. Another option that you could employ is to make your initial purchase for 50,000 UPX. Then use the same property purchasing strategy to mint properties in a city release during vanilla mode after following my invite link. But because you won't have 100,000 UPX worth of assets, you could mint FSA properties, which cost less than similar properties, but you cannot sell the properties for 2 weeks. FSA stands for Fair Start Act and allows players to start buying and selling properties with little or no money. So type in your internet browser my invite link, r.upland.me/capital B P capital N M and sign up. You need to come up with a username, enter a valid email address, and create a password. Complete the reCAPTCHA requirement, and they will send you an account verification to the email address you provided. Click the link and your account is active. Welcome to the metaverse. Now it's time to log in. Fill in your email address and password and complete the reCAPTCHA requirement. Now you get to make your very limited selection of a block explorer, and you have many colors to choose from for your background. Upland will give you a tutorial of the platform and get you acquainted somewhat. Now you can secure your mega bonus by making your initial purchase. I suggest buying 100,000 UPX and getting 50,000 UPX for free. You can use a credit card or debit card or a crypto wallet. Any trading of property or assets on Upland are usually made through any of many of Upland-based servers on Discord. There's Upland, the Board Uplander Club, Playa del Rey, Car Dealers, Huddle, Howard Beach, and many more. In our Upland community, we take each other at our word. If you make a deal, follow through. Also, if anyone gets caught trying to cheat, they get sent to Alcatraz and cannot buy or sell or really do anything. It could be for a time limit. Sometimes it's for life. Don't cheat. Don't multi-account. They will catch you. Let's get back to your Block Explorer. Your Block Explorer is your in-game player token. When you become a director, you can submit a photo to Upland through any city hall of what you would like your custom Block Explorer to replicate. It will not be exact, or perhaps hardly close at all. These can become quite valuable if you get a good one. Your Block Explorer just goes in any direction within the city you are in. It will turn and go in another direction, but mainly it just goes straight for a while. You can move your Block Explorer by clicking on any minted property and hitting the send button in the city that you are in. Your Block Explorer must be within discovery range of a property to do a number of things, like minting a property, purchasing an item from a store, entering a minigame or experience through a dev shop, purchasing legits or mementos from the NFLPA shop, or even collecting a treasure. Now that you are starting to see that there's so much going on in Upland, I should tell you that it is always changing and constantly getting better. When I started, we didn't have cars or racing, or even properties outside of the US. Now we have cafes where you can travel to and visit with your avatar and talk to other players and walk around and see other Upland properties around you. Let's get going on traveling in the metaverse. I'm going to share an achieving goals procedure with you because it will help you travel in Upland today and help you travel in Upland in the future as things change. Also, I hope that this strategy can help you accomplish personal goals in the real world. Besides, at the X, we are all about teaching the user. If you don't know what the second to last step is for attaining your goal, how will you get to the third from the last step?
You start memorizing your speech by remembering the last sentence and then the last two sentences. You start the maze at the very end and work your way back. So you write down the goal at the bottom of a piece of paper. Okay. The goal should be thorough and include exact details. Right? How you want it to happen, everything. We are making a list. And the next thing that you write will go just above the goal. And this will be the very last thing you will do to achieve the goal. Don't forget to keep in mind the details of the goal. Then you will continue to list the second to the last step to attaining your goal. And this will go right above the very last step. Then continue until you get to the very first step. If ever in receding in your list, things get messy or lots of options, you can go up to what you think is step 1, and then 2 and 3. Somehow you're going to have to connect the dots to have a list in order of all the steps that you need to do to achieve your goal. And it'll be like that when we're figuring out how to get around. We'll be looking at the way backwards, and then we'll realize that we got to get into this country or that. So we got to figure out how to do that, and then we're working forward. But we're always going to be working back. So you're going to make your list, right? Really, the very last goal is to enter the X metaphor, right? Like not just moving there so you can enter, but to actually enter it, which at this point is not possible. See, right? X metaphor, sweet. So let's see here, like that purple dot. That's what the X is going to be. So we keep working backwards. Okay. So how do we get to Arlington? Well, this is actually the Dallas airport. You can tell by clicking any property near the airport terminal. And here you can see that this is the Dallas airport. So this is Dallas airport. So this is all part of some, and then this is over here. This is something else. So from Dallas, you can send your Block Explorer to the airport because that's the Dallas airport, right? And you can send your Block Explorer from the airport to anywhere in Dallas, right? Arlington has a train terminal, but no plane terminal. So the only way you can get to Arlington is by train. And we can see that only Dallas is connected to the Arlington train terminal. So our last steps are get to Dallas so that we can take the train to Arlington and then move our Block Explorer to the X NFT property and then enter the metaphor by clicking on the submarine button. Right. It'll be a dev shop just like these, but you enter it, an immersive metaverse experience. There's going to be other players in there. There's going to be things to do. Right, here's another example of the submarine button. That's going to be just like that at the X metaphor. The first walkthrough that we're going to do is Buenos Aires. So we made our way backwards, right? We've said, okay, we're going to click on that button. And before we do that, we're going to have to send our Block Explorer to this property. right? And before we can do that, we're going to have to send our Block Explorer from the Dallas train to the Arlington train. And then from where we're coming from, we could either take the train or airplane, white plane to get here. Or the yellow one is international. So if you're outside of the country, you could possibly fly to this airport. So the next receiving step is going to be the flight to Dallas. What's the step? Well, I can't really figure it out from here. If it was here, we would know. That would be the next step in our receiving list. So we could say, oh, well, I could, back step to London, or I could back step to Berlin, and then you'd have to go check those areas on the map, to see, where they go or how you could go next to find your way to Dallas. Or you can start just like you normally would have started, trying to attain any goal and trying to work out the first steps so that we can find our way to meeting in the middle. Right, so our Block Explorer is going to be here. Look at how different this is already. Buenos Aires Airport, right? So, but it's different because if you're in Buenos Aires, in any of these neighborhoods of Buenos Aires, you should be able to send directly to this airport. But it's not like that here. So being over in Buenos Aires is pretty easy. You can send to any of these properties if you're in this area, right? But if you want to get out to the airport, you're going to have to take this train. It's the only way out. It's the only way in. So we've worked our way backwards. Now we're going to start working our way forward, making sure that we're going in the direction of our goal, right? So while at the international airport, we're going to choose a route that goes straight to the US. So we could go to Chicago, we could go to Los Angeles, or we could go to New York. That wasn't, this weren't on the list, right? But we got New York, and we got Chicago, and we got Los Angeles, right? So those are the three destinations that we can get to in the US from Buenos Aires. So now we look at the Dallas National Airport to see if we can connect to Los Angeles, Chicago, or New York. And it looks like we could go any of the three ways. So at this point, we're looking at coming up from down here in South America and getting here. So one of these two routes would be the preferred way. Yet for this example, I've chosen to go to Los Angeles and use the other cities in other examples. So now we know our plan. Our Block Explorer is going to be in Buenos Aires. We're going to move our Block Explorer to the Retrino train terminal and send it over to the Aziza train terminal. And then we're going to send our Block Explorer to the airport terminal. And then we're going to take the international airport, Buenos Aires, to Los Angeles. Then we're going to send our Block Explorer from the international airport to the national airport. And then we're going to go from the Los Angeles National Airport to the Dallas Airport. And then we're going to move our Block Explorer to the Dallas train terminal so we can take the train to Arlington, and then because we're in Arlington, we'll be able to move our Block Explorer to the X NFT property. You're going to enter the X Metaphor, an immersive metaverse experience. Right, here's another example of the submarine button. And it's going to be just like that at the X Metaphor.
The first condition in Upland gameplay you need to keep in mind is sends. Every time you send your Block Explorer to a property, you will use up 1 send. You can only hold a maximum of 11 sends. To get sends, you move your Block Explorer to a property near a paper airplane. Then click on the paper airplane and you will collect sends. If you run out of sends, you may have to purchase them in the store, or wait a day to get 3 for free. Your Block Explorer is in Buenos Aires, so we must take the Retrino train to the Aziza train terminal, and this is our step 1. So we send our Block Explorer to the Retrino train terminal, select our destination of Aziza, and pay the fare. Now that we have arrived at the Aziza train terminal, we can send our Block Explorer to the International Plane Terminal, Buenos Aires. Then we select our destination, Los Angeles LAX, pay the fare, and we're off. Okay, now that we are in LA, we send our Block Explorer to the White Plane Terminal, LAX. And choose the destination of Dallas. So we made it to Dallas. Now we send our Block Explorer to the train terminal and select Arlington. will teach you a trick to find the X metaphor. Go southeast to just past the first crossing highways. Now just click on the property and hit the send button. You made it to the metaphor. Congratulations. Notice all of my own properties are dark blue. Properties that are owned and not for sale are light blue. Properties that are owned and are for sale are dark green. Properties that have not been minted yet are light gray. And if they are within your discovery range, they turn light green. Now you can mint them. Here you can see that you can start building on your properties, townhouses, apartments, and more.
Now, if you send to your own properties, you don't pay the fee and you don't use up the send. So you can send to your properties all day long, as much as you want, not a problem. This is good for treasure hunting. There's your borders and property descriptions. So I can send my block explorer to anywhere in Chicago, including the airport. Okay. If I want to leave Chicago to go somewhere else, there's the Hyperloop, which is only in a couple cities. The Hyperloop you could take from Chicago to Cleveland, and you can take it from Cleveland to Chicago. To use the terminals, it's all the same. You need to move your block explorer to one of the terminal properties. And the terminal properties will tell you which airport you're looking at. So, Chicago. This one's real simple, but some cities aren't. So, if you need to know which airport you're looking at on the map, you just click on one of the properties and it tells you. So once you've landed on one of these properties and now your block explorer is within discovery range, you will be able to enter the terminal and figure out where you're going to go and pay the fee and go. You can also click on the magnifying glass in the lower right hand corner of the platform and enter the address there to find the metaphor. So we all think forward. In forward thinking, you're saying, oh, well, I'm going to try the train. Cleveland, Kansas, New Orleans, Nashville, Detroit. Here again, you're looking at your options and you don't see Arlington. So you could get lucky and say, well, I'm going to go to Dallas. I think I'll be able to get there then from Dallas somehow. And that's forward thinking, when you're going to attain a goal. But you can save yourself the heartache and frustration and unknowing of all these things by working your way backwards. Your goal is to send your block explorer to this property so that when there's a submarine button here, you can enter the X metaphor.
Okay, let's do an easy one to help you some more with fundamentals of traveling. I am going to collect some sends and we can take a look at our destination. Notice every time that I make a send or the like, I must enter a code This is two-factor authentication, and I suggest everyone use it. Let's work our way back again from the metaphor to our current position of Chicago. With my account, it is very easy to see where the X metaphor is because of my property that is right next to it. It is marked by a dark blue circle with a 1 inside of it. We know that in order to send our block explorer to the metaphor, that we need to be in Arlington, and that to get to Arlington, we must take the train from Dallas. Let's look at the Dallas plane terminal, the white airplane, to find a way to Dallas. Now we can see that we can get to Dallas directly from Chicago. So step 1 is to send our block explorer to the airport in Chicago, the white plane. And to choose our destination of Dallas. We pay the fare and we are off.
And 13 minutes later, we're in Dallas.
We send our block explorer to the Dallas train terminal. Select Arlington, and we are on the move. Get to the X metaphor. Go to the gun range. Let's look at Dallas train terminal. We can see that we can get to Dallas by train from Nashville, New Orleans, and Kansas City. Here's Nashville, train to Dallas. New Orleans, train to Dallas. Kansas City, train to Dallas. Keeping these options in mind will help you to save UPX while traveling if you take the train versus airplane. So it's pretty easy. If you can travel one way through two destinations, you can travel the way back.
Now we are in Detroit.
We can see by clicking on the train terminal that we could go to Chicago, and then we could repeat the process of last trip to our goal. I also see Nashville, which is one of the train terminals that connects to Dallas. We can save some UPX on this route. So we send our Block Explorer to the Detroit train terminal and select Nashville. The X metaphor. So we send to a property near a paper airplane and collect sends.
Now that you're starting to see how working our way back makes sense while making our way forward, let's do something that's a little more complicated because now we'll have less to remember. Manhattan, New York. We know that we're going to Arlington so we can go to the X metaphor. And we know to get to Arlington we have to go to Dallas. So we know we're going to Dallas. So we backstep and we look to see
if we can get to New York JFK.
And we can. We got to get to Dallas. We can get there by plane. And we know all that because of working backwards. Right? So now we're going to be like, okay, we got to get to JFK. So we're in Manhattan. And you go, oh, okay, I'll just take the train to the airport. Right? And it's not here. But in this situation, we can also start working our way back and figure out what's going on. So we start at the airport, right? And the only way to get to the airport seems to be this little bus. So we click on the bus, we're working our way back to figure out the way. And it looks like Queens, right? So the only way to catch the bus to JFK is from the Queens train terminal. It's not so difficult now. You know, if you want to get to the airport from anywhere in New York, you got to get to Queens first, so you can take the bus. And if you're coming in from some other place, and you get to the airport and you want to go anywhere in New York, you're going to have to take this bus to Queens first. So this makes it a lot easier. Now we're going to continue working our way back, right? It works so well. Go to the Queens train terminal. We'll find out how we can get here. And it looks like it's a direct route from Manhattan. So now we know the whole plan. So we're in Manhattan. We're going to send our Block Explorer to the Manhattan train terminal. We're going to take the Manhattan train terminal to the Queens train terminal. And then we're going to take the bus from the Queens train terminal to JFK. And then we're going to send our Block Explorer to the White terminal. And then we're going to take the plane from New York airplane terminal straight to Dallas. And then we're going to move our Block Explorer to the Dallas train terminal and take the train to Arlington so that we can go to the X NFT property and enter the X Fort. And we've made it in time to shoot guns with our friends. Okay guys, so I'm going to look into the future here. Let's see. One day the X will have a symbol in here as a specialty item in the store. Right? Specials. And you're going to be able to click on here. You're going to be able to buy this. Pay PayPal. I'm not a robot. Take some of those. You're going to get to see these packages pop up on my screen because I'm going to receive them from Upland. Here we go. Oh, so fun. And it'll be just like that when you purchase your X items from Upland. All this cool gear I'm going to be putting in my particular houses and showing off one day. Or I could put them for sale in somebody's MetaVenture store. Someone who's actually started a business in Upland. I can also just go on Discord and make deals with my friends on there. Okay, here's the extra special info for all my X friends. Now that you're up and going with Upland, try to do some of these treasures. Okay, this is how you learn it right here. It's a standard treasure. Okay, you get one free, and then you pay like 125 UPX for each one. But do these treasures, and then you learn how to do it, and you can start getting spark. Now, once you have enough spark, you can start a build, and you can have your friends help you build. First thing you want to do is see how many sends you got. Right, 6 is pretty good. You know, that should be good. But let's just get one. Now, whether you're treasure hunting or just playing the game and scouring for properties, this is where it's at. With your phone, you can take 2 fingers and slide it up, and then you can see on an angle, and then slide it down to come back. On the computer, you have to tap a white part of the map. So like one of these streets, right? That works. Or if you're back like this, you can just hit it wherever. You know, you can't hit a Block Explorer or one of your properties. You know, so you can do it out here, and then you hit Shift arrow up, all right, and then Shift arrow down brings it back, right? So you come out, you're coming in, you're looking for sends, You click on the street, you hold down shift, and then hold the up arrow button. So, but that's something that, usually takes people a while to learn. And you got this zoom close up, zoom right. If you want to be the very furthest out without losing the properties, you can do it. Hit that button. That's as far out as you can go and still see the properties. So you got a good, view. So we'll get these. And when you send it, always goes back to regular view. So you pick a property in the middle of the city that you're going to hunt. Right? And then you start the treasure. It's active, you shut this, you just close it, and then you start checking your properties. So like for slow, it's like out here somewhere. Alright, so it's right up here. And right. But so that's gonna be something around here maybe. That's like the second fastest hint. Alright, so like it's not here, but it's over here. Okay, so you do a treasure, you get a little prize of $2.90. You pretty much get back what you paid to do the treasure, and then you'll get bigger prizes too. So you'll actually earn UPX just by doing standard treasures. If you keep doing them, you'll win more than you pay. And every 20 treasures, you get a spark reward. If you've done 40 treasures and you haven't got a spark, you're about to get 2. So just keep on rolling with it. And then, like I said, once you get some spark, you might need 0.5 to start a build or something. And so you get 0.02. So, I mean, it might take you a minute to get enough. I think some of the builds are 0.3. So, but buying it, it's expensive. When I started, there wasn't as many people playing and not nearly as many people treasure hunting. And I used to kill it. I used to do the competitive treasures and win all kinds of good stuff. It was fun. Yeah, that's my balance. It just goes up. I do treasures, or even when I'm not. Like, I haven't been on it in a few days, and look at all this money in my thing. Like, to get that amount of UPX out of the store, I'd have to spend $8. Like, that's awesome. I'll break it down. Like, these are sends. These are people who sent to these properties and paid me 20 UPX. Now, I could change the charge. I could put it to 125 in Chicago. And anytime somebody send, it would pay me 125 UPX. But look at all these earnings. Like, look at these big properties, right? 1,400. That's just a few days, and then you can collect it. Now, I used to let it go and save it like that. I'd have the 2 balances rolling. But they're talking about how they're gonna make it to where if you don't collect it, it's different amounts for how much assets you have. So maybe like 5 days to a week. If you don't come in and collect your money, it's just gonna stop accumulating. You know, it'll stop at say the 8,000 UPX, but it won't keep going up. But it won't go away. But until you collect it, it won't keep going up. All right. If you have the Tilly account, you can go like this on your computer. You can't do it on your phone. And you can put your properties up for sale for dollars. I might be able to get $2 for it. Honestly. I mean, when I first started playing, it was like, if you bought a property for 100,000 UPX, somebody would give you $70 for that property. But it's come way down. It's more like 10% now, you know. If you have $100,000 property and you want to sell it for cash, you're probably gonna get $10 for it. And that number, of course, is gonna go down. You know, it already has. It's gonna continue to be like that. On the flip side of that, that's a really good way to get in an area. I need to get me one of those properties in Delray 2000. Now that's 2 million UPX, but if you were to buy 2 million UPX, it would cost you 2,000. That's why I say 2,000. You get your way of working through it. So it blew up. Look at this guy. Look at all these cars. So cool, right? You want to check out somebody's ride, you just click on it. You can find out the mint number. You can figure out if you want to go, oh, that's a mint 81R. I want it. Check this out. If you're going to be buying secondhand properties, you need to be going and buying the properties that are for sale for U.S. currency. Because otherwise, you're doing the dump right there. So if you put $120 into the game, then you're going to get 120,000 UPX. And then you could buy this property, right? But there could be a similar property that's going for US dollars that you could buy directly for US dollars, and it would be more like $15 or something like that. The opportunities aren't over because look at all these cities we've had, and it's not stopping. UPX is not worth what it costs in the store. You are definitely doing better the sooner you get involved in this game and have some trading going on where you're making UPX or earning with your properties. Yeah, to pretty much stay afloat, you got to be a wheeler and dealer because everybody is. Collections, you know, and you can get really good collections too. I mean, if you're just buying properties randomly in a vanilla mode, and it's going to be the cool streets, it's going to be the cool buildings, it's going to be, the cool areas that make the collections and the high collections too. So you can make a lot by minting in vanilla mode. So see, as you go, these just get better and better. Now some of these are really hard to get, but they're paying you 3 times your money on your rent. You get flashy eye candy about it too. See, if you look at my block explorer, there's a 2. You can see like 2 little purple circles. There's a 2, And then above that, there's an 8 with the blue square. So those are collections. I got 2 purple collections, and I got 8 blue collections. So here you go. Here's your blues. I minted this big dog, and then I bought secondhand for the Transflow. Alright. These are just, yeah, I was in Detroit. I did some mint. Then there's other things, like you want to get a property on a racetrack. The Green Mile, see that? The Reef, Detroit. This is a racetrack. Got my nice little green hotel. Tight, right? One day we'll be racing up and down 8 Mile. You can come over at my apartment and watch the race. And there's other ones too. Look at this. Got a buck. Board Upland Club. Look at all this. Right, this is another one. This is a racetrack. I bought this secondhand with the hotel already on it because it's on a racetrack. See? See, there's all kinds of ways to wheel and deal this stuff too. It's like, you know, you're trading this with that and the other thing, and you can go to dollars. You can sell for UPX all day on the platform, even crypto or through payment services. So it's not even all done on the platform. That's all I'm gonna say. Alright, so I wish you guys all the best. Live it up.